Hello friends, thanks for visiting my YouTube channel today. Several of you have asked me to do some tutorials that would help new stampers get started and some of us seasoned stampers to make some simple, effortless cards. If you're like me, it's really fun to watch those complicated wow cards with projects that challenge our mind, and often actually that's as far as it goes. We don't have the materials, the time, or the energy to actually make those cards, even though they're fun to watch. So my model for today is less is best. So let's get started with some simple basics. Don't be put off if you're just thinking about stamping. It's such an easy, fun, relaxing craft, and really blesses a lot of people as well. So, tools of the trade. Here you go. You need to have blocks, of course, and I've put out a few here. As you can see, they come in many different sizes. You don't need to buy them all right off the bat. These, I think, are the ones that I use the most often, and I've kind of put the sizes down in as close to whole numbers as I can, so you can see what we have. You can eventually, you'll probably want to get them all, but seriously, you can just start with one or two to begin with. And then this is a really handy tool, and I know it looks terrible. It is called Simply Chamois. It's in the annual Stampin' Up! Catalog, and it's kind of really hard until you wet it down, and then it just becomes real flexible, and it's nice pretty pink when you first get it, but as soon as you start using it, it's going to stain, but it won't stain on your fingers. So what it's good for is keeping those smudges off your fingers and also cleaning up your stamps. And I keep mine in one of these stamp cases, just empty stamp cases that we can buy, and that kind of keeps the moisture in there, so I don't have to. It's just handy as soon as I grab it. So that's what I do with this. And then a bone folder is essential. There's nothing to it. It's only a few dollars. Mine's a mess. Actually, I have several because I'm always looking for one. But it's what I use for scoring, which I'll show you in a minute when I do show you the paper sizes. I just put it in here and slide it down. Works as a good scoring blade, and also to crease your folded paper. And then of course you'll need some adhesive. People like one or the other or both. I use them both for different purposes. This is just simply like old Elmer's glue, I think. Comes out white and you gotta dab it on your paper. This one is a tape runner, and it needs a little more practice, I think. You gotta run it in the right direction. Don't go this way, you get it all mixed up. So you go this way, and you see how it leaves your sticky part on your paper, and then just lift it up. So I think that's kind of the basics. Let's go on to the paper, which is your next basic essential. Gotta have paper, right? So most of the time your card bases are going to be standard size, envelope size. So here's our envelope, and here's the folded card size, which will be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now how do we get there is by, reach over here, I've made this nice template for you. It's by simply you take your 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock, which is how most of it comes, and you cut it in half. And then you just fold it in half. You see when it cuts in half, it's going to be this size. Fold it this way, press it down with your bone folder, and you have your card base. Now, of course, you can do it the other direction as well, and I'll show that so that you can see how I do. So I'm going to go to 5 1/2. Put my bone folder. This might seem a little rudimentary. elementary to you, but honestly, sometimes it's nice to remember how to do this stuff. And then I just use that to hold it in place. Fold it up, crease it real good. And then I have sorry about the noise, I have a lengthwise card base. So either way fits in your standard size envelope. If you want to do a note card, let's see, I thought I had that out. Okay, here we go. Note card envelopes are this size, and they're kind of fun too. We'll do one of those in a minute. So you start with a 10 by 7.5 piece of paper, and you score it in half. 7.5 is 3.5, and that makes a 5 by 3.5 card, which will fit right in here. So we're going to do one like that in a little bit. So that's the paper. You can look again if you want to see how layering. Just cut a 1/2 inch smaller, and that'll leave a 1/4 of an inch all the way around for the layering part. Okay, so simple stamping. Next thing to talk about is going to be the stamps. Okay, there's 2 kinds of stamps that we use, and one is called the cling, and I'm going to do that. Got a little project to show you here with the cling. Got to remember, sometimes they abbreviate it with just a large letter C, and I think clear, but it's not. It's cling, and I'll show you why it's cling. It's because it comes with the tackiness that will stick to our, oops, sorry about the noise, which will stick to the block. Now these blocks, if they become smeary or dirty, wash them. The stamps will stick better. Same with these. You can just, if they get dusty or dirty or whatever, you can, and aren't sticking real well, you can wash them. Just rinse them off with water. So you see how that sticks. Now, the thing with these, which I've written here, is they've got this nice cushy back to them, which gives a really nice sharp image. So a lot of people really like that. And then you have to put these the sticker on them. So I should have showed you that, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So there is some assembly required in these. And then the other thing with these is that they will leave an edge. If you twist or turn a little bit, it might leave an edge on your paper. I'll show you how that looks too here. I'm real nervous about the noise because one of my friends said, your videos are good, but you're always dropping things, so I try to be careful. Now watch, if I kind of do this, now that's a little intentional, but see what I mean by an edge? So you don't want that. But if you just go straight up and down, it works just fine. So let's make a little card using the cling stamps, just for fun. So here we go. Sorry, I didn't have that paper out. This card is just about as simple as can be. Again, when it's a big stamp like this, I often take my green and just dab it on there. And gotta do the moon here. Here's the moon is just, it's the watercolor shapes, I think is what it's called. And there's, a lot of different shapes, and it just gives that real fun look to it. So it's a great stamp to have. I'm going to just do that in gray. So this is what I'm talking about, simple card making. You can't get any simpler than this card. Just press it down. So there you go with the moon. And our trees. And with a card like this, you don't have to worry too much about your placement. So there you go, and then we put some words there, and this is how it looks. And on this one, I cut it down because I thought that was kind of fun to just do that white paper on white. And with this really thick white cardstock, you just, it works really well as your card base. And then put a little something on the inside. Here's another one that I did, and I didn't layer that, but I did stamp it off a couple of times. So what that means is you stamp it first, you get your darker image, and then you do it again to get a little more dimension. So there's your coffee pot. So love that stamp set, and it's a good example of how the cling works really well. Now we're going to do one with the photopolymer. Did I say that screwy? Photopolymer. Photopolymer. I have to kind of say it a few times to get it right there. But it's got a lot of advantages, and that is that you can see through it. So there's easy placement to it. So I'm going to show you here the ladybugs. So many cute things you can do with this. And again, we're just going to keep it real simple, but if you have this stamp set or something similar to it, there's so much you can do with just simple stamping. So this is what the photopolymer looks like. And Stampin' Up! Is so good to us in that they, on the case, inside of the case, they give an image of all the stamps so you don't lose any. When you put things back, you can make sure you've got them all. So I think we're just going to use this little guy, and here's a little back part today. And you can see I'll just put him on. He sticks on the block. If he loses his stickiness, just go and wash him off. Doesn't hurt him a bit. And we'll use his backing. And so I'm just going to use 2 ink pads, as I did with the other one. Just 2 ink colors today. Black. Actually, I don't even count black as a color. Black and red. So let's show you the beauty of this. You can do your black. Again, ink it up. And ink him up real good. And notice I have this little mat underneath. It's $5. Well worth it. You can cut it in half if you want to make 2, but it really helps with these photopolymer stamps because it gives them a little cushion in it. They stamp a little better. So here's our little guy. And cute. Now, let me show you how great this is for being able to see through it. See, I can see exactly where to stamp him because I can see through the stamp. And there we go. So I came up with a couple of cards. You could, again, just using 2 colors, make a cute little gift card or a little note card. This one I thought turned out really cute. And I have a scissors. Yes, I kind of want to show you this because this is a nice idea as well. Cutting him out. People think you have to cut real close to the edge, but honestly, if you leave a little white, it's much more forgiving. And notice I'm not going to cut around his antennas because I stamped him first. And nor his feet. So see how easy this guy is to fussy cut? That's what we call it, fussy cut, when you do it like this. And then he would go like that to make this cute little card. So now, what else do we need for stamping? Often we say SIP, stamps, ink, papers. So we've talked about paper and stamps. Next week we're going to talk about inks and coloring with markers and watercolor pencils and whatnot. I really appreciate you visiting and subscribing to my channel. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so you can purchase products at my online store if you like. Or if you want my newsletter, be sure and send me an email. I'll be glad to get you on the list and even send you a catalog. Thanks for stopping.